I hope I'm making a point. So the difference between traveling as we used to have it before and now is the fact that it will continue to evolve. So people were traveling by camels. Now we are traveling by airplanes. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? Maybe we will start to teleport. But whatever happens, my point is there will always be a niche for a travel consultant. So you are in the right industry and you are in an industry that you are sure that will evolve. Now let's talk about travel industry statistics. I would like to share some information with you, basically to open up your mind and help you understand the size of the industry that you're in. Now, globally, travel and tourism direct contribution to GDP globally was approximately 4.7 trillion US dollars in 2020. Mind you, 2020 was the year of COVID-19, meaning that as of 2019, the contribution of travel and tourism to the global GDP of the world was about $8 trillion. Now, that is a whole lot of money. Now, when I say figures like this, as a travel consultant, you should think about, out of these figures that is being mentioned, what is my stake? What am I making? What is my market share? I hope you understand. Now, the United States travel and tourism industry contributed the largest sum of 1.1 trillion US dollars in the year 2020. So out of the 4.7 trillion dollars, the US alone had a contribution of 1.1 trillion dollars. Trust me, that is a very huge industry. Now, according to the statistical research, the travel industry shows a trend in the annual growth rate. The situation remained the same over the last couple of years with a yearly growth rate of approximately 5%. Now, what this means is that the travel industry has been increasing by an average of 5%. So as at before 2020, as at 2015, 2016. So if the industry was doing 100 billion in 2015, it was doing 105 in 2016. By 2017, was doing 5% of the 105. Now that means that we are in an industry that is growing, and this information tells us a great deal about the direction and trajectory of the travel business, so we can have insight into how to key into it and how to make the best out of it. Now, however, in 2020, the market plummeted by more than 50%. So there was a market crash in the year 2020 because of COVID-19 pandemic and different travel bans that happened in different countries. Now, what happens after the COVID-19? The new situation called for a projection. It appears that the market is going to recuperate. That is an assurance. And the revenue is expected to grow again. More precisely, it is expected to show an annual growth rate of 21.1%. What am I saying? After the pandemic, a whole lot of people have now shown interest in traveling, interest in relocation. So an industry that was growing at 5% per annum pre-COVID is now expected to grow at 21.1% post-COVID. That is good news for a travel consultant. That is good news for a business person. Okay. Now, in the year 2020, the number of international tourist arrivals, that is people that move from one place to another in different countries globally, was measured at about 399 million. Think about that figure. Now, what that tells me is that of the approximately 7 billion people that we have on Earth, about 5% of the 7 billion we have are actively traveling. Mind you, before someone will say, I want to move from one place to another, they must have a level of resource, a level of income, a level of affordability. So we are looking at 399 million. Now, out of this 399 million, how many did you influence? How many sales did you have? How many tickets did you buy? How many did you attend to? And the global leisure travel spent 2.37 trillion US dollars to travel. I'm saying all of this to establish the fact that people will always travel. We are not in an industry that is set to crash in the near term. The worst that can happen is our industry can evolve. If we can emerge stronger post-COVID, have you noticed that even in Nigeria, We have almost 3 new airlines that are coming up post-COVID. After the COVID era, that is when we have a lot of international airlines. They are now coming in. People are buying airplanes more than before. So this industry is really vibrant. Now, I want to ask you a typical question. Why do you want this business? Now, I need you to get a pen wherever you are, and I need you to write it down. Why do you want this business? You could be selling clothes, you could be selling shoes, you could be doing anything. But why do you want to do this business? Okay, so the question is, why do you want to do this business? Before you venture into any form of business, it is important that you know why you want to do it. For everything we tend to do in life, it's important for us to understand why we want to do it. Now, you could have chosen to do any other form of business. You could have chosen to sell clothes. You could have chosen to do trade, buying and selling. You could have chosen to be a professional in whatever field you have studied in school. But then there is something that is attracting you to this industry. And that is why I'm asking the question, why do you want to do the travel business? Let me draw an inspiration from my experience. Okay, the first time I had to travel was in the year 2010, and at that point in time I was looking at venturing into energy business because I did physics and solar energy. I was thinking, okay, Shegun, you can do something in the area of renewable energy and all of that. I was also considering laundering as an option for me. But then I had the opportunity to travel, and that was where I had a change of mind. Now, that experience for me was a turning point. The way the aircraft took off, landed in Heathrow, the environment, my experience of a system that worked. And I made up my mind that Shegun, is not enough for only you to enjoy this kind of a privilege. You need to help as many people as you can to also enjoy this kind of privilege. So that is it for me. That was what brought me into the business, the desire and the passion to help those who intend to travel to have that kind of experience. That was what brought me to the business. And aside that, I have this crazy passion for aviation. Anything that has to do with airlines, that has to do with aircraft, that has to do with, it's just something I love to do. With my age at this point, if I see an aircraft flying by, I'll still look up to say, where is this airplane going to? I can even go online to check the internet to know, okay, which particular aircraft just passed ahead of me, what is the maker, who is possibly flying it, and all of these things. So it is passion for me. Okay, I don't know what it is for you, but it's important to understand why you want to go into this business. And let me give you some heads up. For example, this business can be a side hustle for you. Now, assuming you have a full-time job, you have something you're running, and then you have friends around you who love to travel, who are interested in travel, you can do this business and take it as a side hustle. You might be an accountant, you can be a medical doctor. It doesn't take away your full time. You can run it as a part-time business and also make income from it. Also, you can run it as a family thing. If you have a traveling family, why do they have to take the money outside? Why not you render the service and make money from it? It is also a way for you to, it can be a reason why you want to do the business. And also you can see it as a full-time venture, which is something I would like you to key into. You can see it as a full-time venture whereby you are expected to grow, or you have the ability to grow it into a conglomerate. Now, in the course of my career, I've been privileged to work with some people, and I've seen figures, I've heard figures, I've seen transactions in this industry, which gives me hope and helps me to come alive that a lot can still happen even in this industry, So for you, you need to decide on which area you want to go into, what exactly you want to achieve. Is it a side hustle? Is it a full-time business? Now, this will give you a hint. Answering this question will help you to take the right decision and help you to know how much you want to go into it. For me, when I started, I read physics, but when I discovered that my love for travel and aviation is huge, I decided to take my IATA diploma in travel and tourism industry. And for you to be taking this course, it means that there's something you're passionate about the industry. So I have this little classwork for you, which will be projected on your screen. And that is, you need to take time to imagine the volume of money that is going around in the travel industry. Now, earlier on, I was mentioning trillions of dollars. Now, we are not saying trillion of naira, we're saying trillion of dollars. That is a whole lot of money that is going around in the travel industry. So the question is, how much of it do you want to take? So I want you to take your time to imagine the transactions that are going on. Look at the people that are around you, how much they've traveled. Imagine the average cost of tickets. Imagine the money that is going around in the travel industry. And the next question is, how do you now intend to take a huge chunk out of this money? Now, money might be passing by, money might be moving around you, but then your ability to take out of it is what really matters. So how do you intend to take a huge chunk out of this money that is going around? Also, how much do you intend to make from the travel industry monthly? Now, if you're going into any business, it's important for you to set financial goals. So if, for example, I earn 300,000 on a monthly basis and I'm looking at an extra 200,000 income to support myself, then in this industry, you need to set clear goals. If you're looking at how to make 200,000, then what else do I need to do? What do I have to put in place to be able to make this kind of money? Now, that is for another masterclass. Okay, then also you need to create the biggest picture you can about your travel business. I need you to create that picture. What do you want it to look like? I've seen travel companies in Nigeria that employ well over 100 people. Now, Expedia and the likes of Booking.com, they employ thousands, 10, 12, 15,000 people working for them. You can decide how you want your business to grow. And right now at the foundation, this is the best time for you to set that pace, to understand in which trajectory and in which direction you want to go. Now, this classwork, you're going to share it with me, because after each module, we're going to have a one-on-one through WhatsApp, through phone calls, through physical meetings, where we'll discuss what are your take-homes, what are the things that you can implement in your industry. So the training doesn't end online. There's also an offline version where we get to drive in and drive home these points and also create this personalized service for you. So take this classwork serious. I told you earlier, get a notebook, write down your answers and your thoughts. It will guide you in making future decisions. So let's go further when we talk about the travel business. Remember, we're talking about in this first module, we're talking about understanding the travel business. How much of the travel business do you understand? So let's look at travel business segments. Now, there are a lot of segments in the travel industry, but there are two broad major categories to classify travel customers. We look at the business travel and we look at the leisure travel. A business traveler is more or less like someone who travels frequently, and most times their request and the services they require is usually different from someone who is traveling for leisure. Now, someone who is traveling for leisure usually desire to have activities. They want you to put in tours. They want you to put in activities. They want you to cater for a lot of things. But a business traveler already have most times have a pre-scheduled meeting that they want to attend to. Most times they want to fly business class because they are keen on comfort. Most times they don't check anything around a 3-star hotel. They're looking at a 4-star, 5-star hotel. A business traveler, like I said, is usually a frequent flyer. So if you have one of them in your portfolio, you can be sure they will do maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 transactions, maybe in 2 months or every quarter, or they can even do more depending on the nature of business that they do. So we have the business travelers and we have the leisure travelers. The leisure travelers are the ones that I just want to go and flex. I want to go with my wife and my child. We want to go see places, and then you start to think of, okay, what is your budget? How much are you looking to spend on the trip? What kind of activities are you looking at? You start to worry about what is your group, like what travel group are you going with, and a whole lot of that. So basically, once you come in contact with a customer, you want to know, okay, is the person a potential business traveler or a leisure traveler? Now, for the sake of Nigeria and Africa, I've come to add the third part to it. So I call them the relocation and migrating customers. Now, the economic situation of the country as it is right now, a lot of people want to take their leave. Now, if they travel, most likely they won't come back. Even if you help them secure a visit visa, just forget about it. They are not coming back. So I have this third category of people that I call the relocating and the migrating customers. So now we have the business travelers, we have the leisure travelers, and the relocating and migrating customers. Now, a lot of people, some will want to relocate legally. A lot of people might relocate illegally, but you need to understand your customers. You need to know